AI and how the AI works. The night before last, Adrian actually turned off the fog of war in skirmish so that we can we can observe the behavior of the AI. So let's pull up a relatively new map and let's go observe. I'll use an old map. I'll use a Bitterleaf Point. Let us observe the behavior of the AI. And we'll use that as a discussion for why the AI is hard to do. So here's me. Here's a couple AI. Looks like the AI have sorted itself into 3 different categories. That's nice. I am ready. I don't even know what units I brought to this. Doesn't matter. I think I brought Zilvera and some folks. So here's the game, right? I'm over here on this side, and I got 4 AI. Now, 1, 2, 3. There ought to be an AI here. Why is there no AI there? That's weird. Anyway, I bet he'll show up in a minute. Anyway, so when I start the game, I probably would want to do some economic-y things, right? So maybe I might want to build me some craftsmen here. And think about, and the reason I'm going through this is what we're talking about is, does the computer know that it needs to do the things that I'm doing? So does the computer know, for instance, to have a reasonable regiment, right? Does he even know to bring a regiment that makes sense? Does he bring some craftsmen, or somebody who's got the build ability, or somebody who's got build cheap, or somebody who's got some economic power, something like that? Does he bring a balanced regiment at all? Now, this one we can work around, right? The quick answer to does he bring a reasonable regiment is, I can go make a selection of 25 reasonable regiments and just say, there, you'll bring one of those, right? Now, we also know that we want the AI to have a theme, right? And right now we've got three themes. One is super aggressive, one is super defensive, and one is sort of a mix between the two that we're calling conqueror, which is somebody who will slowly go and try to take over things, but try to defend them as well. So we've got sort of super aggressive, super not aggressive, something in between. Those are our sort of 3 flavors of AI. Now, we could probably make more flavors of AI. You know, we could make like a sea-based AI or something like that. We'll get into that later. But for right now, we're keeping it pretty straightforward. Here's our 3 flavors of AI. So, given those 3 flavors of AI, we can actually say, you know what? Here's a really nice regiment for an aggressive AI. And we can just say, I've figured a good one out, and I've assigned it to the AI, and that's what the AI will use. And I can make 25 or 30 of those in a couple days of thinking about it. And we could just assign those out and see how they play. And obviously, as we play the game more and more, we're going to find that people create decent decks, and we're going to say, oh, that's a good deck. That's a smart deck. I'll copy that and give it to the AI. So as the game unfolds, we can make good AI decks. So I can solve that problem with sort of brute force, right? I don't really need to make the computer think that through. That would be a waste of time. So there, that part of the AI is sorted, right? So the next question is, given that he does have a relatively intelligent deck, does he know, it's early on in the game, I should summon somebody who can improve my economy and build stuff. Now I know he's got one because I gave him a deck that's got one, right? The question is, does he know that's what he should summon first? Right now, I don't know that he knows that or not. Let's find out. Second, does he know to put them in a reasonable spot, right? Now, I might tell the AI, hey, now's a good time to summon one of these economic units like this guy. But does the AI know to not put him here or not put him here? I mean, this would be a waste of a position to put him right now, right? Now, they could put him here where he could build something because he's got the building ability. That would make a lot of sense, putting the build cheap guy on top of the build spot. Does the AI know how to do that? That's something we have to teach it, right? Now it says, okay, well, now I've got another decision to make. I've actually got this dock over here. And you know what? If I were to put somebody on that dock, then I could tax the dock and I could make more money. And right now, early in the game, it's probably a good time to make money. So it's probably a good time to put somebody over on that dock. Now, now again, the AI has to figure out, who am I going to put on that dock? And before we even make that decision, it has to decide, oh, I've got leftover money. Do I want to save that money because I'm going to want to use it to build some stuff here in a minute? Or do I want to put somebody out to go make me more money because the long-term value of making that money is worth something? And this is the real problem, is we're looking now at sort of strategy versus tactics, right? On the tactics side, I can look at the situation right now and say, yeah, it's probably a good deal to go ahead and just build a guy right here and then he'll make me some money, right? But on a more strategic side, I could ask myself, well, you know what? I've actually got this village down here. It might be worthwhile for me to not get a shitty unit that can't go by sea. It might actually be a better deal for me to build a ship. And if I build this ship, I can tax with a ship right now. And I believe this ship also allows me to make some money. And then in a second, I can drive that ship down and take over this next city with it. That's a more strategic way of looking at this. How do we make the AI understand that concept? And that's really, now we're getting into really deep stuff, because there's so many things. And here's the thing, if I go look through each one of my units, right, this craftsman has 3 different abilities, right? The AI needs to understand, oh, this guy's got the sawmilling bonus, which means maybe it would be a good idea for me to build a sawmill because he's going to get a bonus with a sawmill. If I look at the ship, I see, oh, look, this ship can actually create traders. Maybe I should make the ship and then make some traders and have the traders do stuff for me. All of these, every time we've given these cool options to the player, we have to think to ourselves, how does the AI understand these abilities and use these abilities in a way that makes sense? This is really hard stuff. And for people who always talk about, you know, oh, multiplayer is really hard to build. Yeah, it is. Multiplayer is hard. There's a particular set of things that you have to do to make a multiplayer game that is difficult. You know, you have to deal with a bunch of technical issues. What happens when, you know, somebody's computer disconnects? What happens when somebody has really bad lag? What happens when one person tries to cheat by manipulating the data on his end? There's a bunch of sort of standard things you got to deal with a multiplayer game. But you don't have to deal with this level of in a multiplayer game. What now? If you the simpler the game is and the simpler the rule set is, the simpler you can make the AI. If we were making Pong, for instance, all I got to do is be like, well, the ball is going that way, move the paddle next to the ball, and I can make a perfect AI for Pong, right? Because the computer knows where the ball is, it knows where it's going. I can make a Pong game that you can't beat, and that's literally trivially easy for a programmer. That's a thing you could do in a day, making a Pong game you can't beat. And so in that sense, making an AI for a Pong game, the challenge there is to make it not perfect. Because making it perfect is easy. The computers are good at math, right? Oh, I need to put the balls going there. I need to put the paddle here, put the paddle there. And I use Pong as an example. Actually, first-person shooters are basically 3D Pong. You don't really think of them as 3D Pong, but essentially I'm going to be shooting stuff, and the stuff that I'm going to be shooting is going to try to hit something in 3D, right? And again, the computer is really good at this, right? If I'm running across a room, the computer knows exactly the speed that I'm going at. It knows exactly where I'm going to be in a second, and it can very easily shoot a bullet right where I am, right? And if I can make a first-person shooter where the AI gets a headshot on me every time I even put a couple pixels around a corner. I can do that's easy to do, right? So in that sense, writing the AI for, and don't get me wrong, you know, obviously a first-person shooter has a lot more technology in it than Pong does, but the challenge for a first-person shooter is not, can I make the AI hit you? That's not the problem, right? The problem is, can I make the AI hide in an interesting way? Can I make them miss you in a way that's interesting and fun? And when I used to make first-person shooters, we would actually do that. We would say, all right, well, the enemy's over there, so he's going to shoot directly at the enemy, but he's going to be off some percentage, right? And the amount that he's off, the percentage that he's off, maybe it's, 2%. And at 2%, I might still hit you. At 3%, I might still hit you. But at 20%, I'm definitely going to shoot past you and shoot that wall over there, right? And we could define the accuracy of the AI so that, sometimes they would hit you, sometimes they wouldn't hit you. But the more challenging thing was to make them behave in a way that was interesting. Do they hide behind things? Do they work together? And this is getting back to our game, getting into the strategy. Right now, I don't actually have any allies. They don't have any allies, and so you think, oh well, they don't have to work together. Not true, right? Let me continue this game a little bit. Let's end our turn. So now I've actually got not one unit, but I've got 3 units. And so even though I don't think of myself as having allies, I do have allies. I have 3 units that are allied to each other and have to interact with each other and start thinking about how they are going to interact with each other. Now, right now, there's not really a lot for them to do to help each other out. But let's take a look. I got this trade lugger. He can't really interact with that guy very much. I got this guy. He can't really interact with anyone very much. I got the Zilvera. She could heal somebody if somebody needed to be healed, but nobody needs to be healed right now. Now, I still have to think about each other because I do have to think, because if we're looking at the AI of this, the AI is sort of on 2 different levels. One is, what is the unit going to do? What is the unit thinking about? How is the unit going to behave? And the second is, how is my army going to behave? Now, let's say, for instance, I thought the best thing to do was to go up here and take this spot. Great, let's go do it, right? And great, you go up there too, right? And it just so happens, well, actually, let me give you a different example. Let's for the moment think that I think the best next thing to do is to go to this jungle. It's not, but let's pretend the next best thing to do is to go to this jungle. All right, cool. This guy says, I should go to that jungle. And Zilvera says, yep, I should go to that jungle too. And there they bang into each other and they don't go there, right? So at the very lowest level, I have to actually consider, how do I get everyone to go where they want to go without having them bang into each other? That's the simplest, lowest level of sort of figuring out their, and that's relatively easy to do, right? I can do a check and say, all right, does anyone collide? Okay, these guys look like they collide. All right, what is the, and we can do with math, we can figure out, okay, the shortest way to do this where everyone moves the shortest space is that, right? That's a thing that we can do. But when we start getting into bigger questions, like what if there was somebody actually that I'm trying to attack on that jungle? Would it be better to attack with Zilvera? Would it be better to attack with the craftsman here? Which one of these units attacks better? Should I attack with both of them? If the craftsman decides he's going to attack, is this unit aware of, and obviously it's a computer, it's not aware of anything, but does it take into its math the idea that Zilvera can also get there and they can both attack at the same time? Because right now the craftsman can do a calculation and say, I'm going to do 2 hit points of damage if I hit whatever's in that jungle. Let's pretend there's something in that jungle. Let's say there's something in the jungle that's got 5 hit points, right? And it does an attack of 2. So the craftsman looks at that and says, well, he's got 5 hit points and does an attack of 2. I've got an attack of 2 and I've got 6 hit points. So if I go hit him 3 times in a row, I'm going to die and he's going to die. And so now I look and I say, well, actually, this craftsman is a lower value character than that character. It's going to get me more points, I guess, in its thinking to go kill that thing. So that's a thing I'm going to go try to do. Does it, when it does that calculation, also consider that at the same time, Zilvera could go over there and do 5 points of damage. My 5 plus my 2 is 7. I could kill him in 1 round. Now I definitely want to do it because the craftsman's going to live through it. Zilvera's going to live through it. My 2 units are going to live. This unit's going to die. I'm going to come out with more points. That's obviously the right decision to make. But the question is, where are we doing the calculations? Are we doing the calculations at a strategic level where it understands that both the owl and the craftsman can attack at the same time? Or are we doing them at the unit level where the unit is deciding what it's going to do on its own? Obviously, if we want the game to have any sort of strategy to it at all, we have to do it on the higher level. And we have to say, okay, how many points of damage can I apply to whoever the fuck is in that jungle right now? And keep in mind, this all assumes that I've already decided that that guy in the jungle needs to die. Let me play the game a little bit and get us in a little bit more tactical situation so we can these things will make more sense. I'm just going to play a couple rounds of the game. Again, would the AI know to build a homestead instead of a camp? That's a thing. All right, Zilvera, what can she do? I'm gonna take her over to this place here and go build something there. This ship, I'm actually going to make some money for a minute. I mean, that's a reasonable first turn. So the question is, could I convince an AI to make a reasonable first turn? To make that reasonable first turn, the AI must consider, A, I want a better economy. I need some money to do the things that I need to do. So let's get this guy to get us some money. Let's get this guy to build us a guy that's going to make us some money. And oh, Zilvera's not doing anything useful. Let's send Zilvera over to a place where she can build a thing that might make us more money. That's a lot of thought process just to get that move. And we haven't even gotten into anyone fucking with us yet, right? We're still on an open slate. Nobody's shooting at us. Nobody's attacking us. I don't have to think about what another player is doing. Right now, I'm still in the very simple world of everything is sort of set and I kind of do what I want to do. All right, let's take another couple turns. All right, so I got some money. Not a lot of money, but probably enough money that I don't want to spend it yet. I want to stay here. I want to earn some more money. You need to earn some more money. Zilvera, you're going to keep going over there. I could build another guy that would spend my money, but he would make me more money after I built him. Or I could save my money and not do that. And that's a strategic decision that the computer has to figure out how to make. Do I, right now, build another craftsman, which would get me an extra, because on this town, it would get me an extra 5 golds. Nelson, gold. The plural of gold is gold. On this turn, it would get me an extra 5 gold per turn. So I'm going to spend 15 gold. Over the next 3 turns, I'm going to get that 15 back. Is it worth it to do that? Or is it better for me to save it right now? Because if I save it, this craftsman here will be able to use the money that we saved to build a farm, and the farm will get me an extra double of whatever it's making, which is 6. So that would be an extra 6 per turn. So over the next 3 turns, I would get 6 times 3 is 18. So it's probably better right now to save the money and upgrade the thing, right? I can't upgrade it because I don't have the money to do it right now. But that's the kind of thinking that the computer's got to make, which I'm going to make right now. All right, so I'm going to build myself a giant crayfish there because I'm going to bring him down and attack with him later because I can't actually attack with a trade lugger. But what I can do with the trade lugger is I can start shooting people, right? Which is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to start shooting. Now, this is what's interesting. What is the AI going to do about this? Because this guy can't actually make it out to my ship. That's not a thing he can do. So how is he going to respond to being shot at? Let's find out. And while you do that, I guess you can't do very much, so you're going to hang out. All right, so I built some crayfish, which is what I wanted to do. Now I'm going to shoot this guy, right? Oh, hey, we fixed that effect. That looks pretty good, by the way. Ben, I don't know if you did that, Ben. That looks fucking good. Good job. That effect didn't look as good as that yesterday, but now it looks really nice, actually. So what's he gonna do about that? He's gonna sit there and take damage. Now, he can't get to me. I'm in a ship. He can't get out in the water. It's impossible for him to get to me and do any damage to me, right? So, what's he do? Let's find out. I'm gonna keep shooting at him and see what he knows how to do. And you, Mr. Crayfish, you're gonna come down and we're gonna attack him in a minute. Now, apparently, he's going to sit there and take it, right? Now, this is obviously not smart, right? So one thing that we need to train the AI to do is in a situation like this where you're just going to sit and take damage, maybe you should move, right? And so what I would expect, if this were a human player, I would expect this guy to move to this spot where he can't get hit, right? And then if somebody tries to take his village, he'd come back in and attack. But it looks like he's just going to sit there and take it, which is probably not what we want him to do. This is probably not the best possible reaction for this guy. Let's find out. And so this would fall under the category of guy plays my game and says, your AI was so dumb, it was like he wasn't even there. Your game is stupid. I don't know why. I give you a thumbs down on Steam. That's how this particular event ends. So this is something that we can't keep. And I know that seems really straightforward, but this is one of like 100 situations that we have to go look into and start saying, can I make sure that given this situation, the AI behaves in a way that makes sense? Right now, I don't think we even know what those 100 situations are. And once we know what those 100 situations are, the problem is we have to start thinking about, all right, well, in this situation, it makes sense. But what about if these other 5 things are happening? What if there's somebody standing over here and shooting at him from over here and he has to move into that fire? Does he know to not move into that fire? Does he know to not do that? This is the sort of thing that we have to consider. So let's take a little snapshot of where we are right now. So you can see whether or not I'm playing in the most intelligent manner, I don't know. But I'm at least playing in a coherent manner, right? So what I've done is I have built up in my own home base a bunch of economic units who are busy improving my economy in the best way they know how. And that's providing me with quite a lot of gold, right? I've got this person over here who's quietly waiting to build the thing that she wants to build. She's got enough money to do it now. And I specifically wanted to build a mage tower there because I want to use it later to help my attack on this fortress, because that fortress is a goal for me. I've also decided that another goal for me is to take this peninsula and hold that point right there, because that's a very defensible point. And to do that, I've created a small army that I'm marching down the peninsula, right? These are sort of strategic level thoughts, right? To do that, I have made a unit which is good at improving my beasts, and then I've made some beasts, right? I've moved the buffing unit the hell out of the way so that she can stay here and buff people while they go down and do their beastie thing, right? I've taken over this property, I've claimed it as quickly as I can, and I've built a ship that has a bombard ability to go down, sort of lead the way, and oh, by the way, it's capable of summoning someone like a colonial trader, and the colonial traders might... Actually, I don't want to do that because they can't build. I only want guys who can build. I should have dropped one of those colonial traders back here to help build my economy there. And in fact, since there's no one here to shoot, I think I will do exactly that. And I think instead I will bring my crawdad down here to do more damages. Now, can I teach an AI to think at least that intelligently? And again, I don't know if this is the best plan. There's probably a better plan, but that's at least a plan. And if I witnessed the AI behaving in this manner, I would think, oh, that AI is behaving with a plan. And I would think it was reasonably intelligent.